Okay, um, Bible Story, Volume 3, Part 1, Story 8, Water from the Rock. And when I just seen that, now that Southern Gospel song, There's Water in the Rock for Me, came in my mind. Because that's what the name of the song is, Water in the Rock. It's a Southern Gospel song that we used to sing uh, at home, that my dad liked to listen to every day. So we're Part 1, Story 8, Water from a Rock. And of course, this is the rock that he was supposed that was in the other one. You know, he hit it. This is why he really hit it. He was supposed to talk to it, but let me digress and get back to the story. Part 1, Story 8, Water from a Rock. For the next 40 years, the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. Little is known of what happened to them. Slowly, worried, they moved from place to place, staying just long enough for the cattle to eat what little grass they could. Then on that, then on their they went again, scorching by the blazing sun, with no purpose and hope. It was enough to break their hearts. Many times they must have thought, what a awful price we are paying for their lack of faith in God. Yeah, it feels like two sometimes. Okay, one by one, all who had taken part in the Great Rebellion died, but died before the 40 years had passed, and at least 600,000 graves dotted the cruel and lonely desert. A lot of people. At least 600,000 graves dotted the cruel and lonely desert. Yeah, it would be funny to try to find all of them. I think they have, but that biblical archaeology is interesting. Okay, let me get back to the story. Great was their suffering, however, God did not utterly forsake them. Every day, except on the seventh day of each week, he sent them manna to eat. Every day from the moment Moses struck the rock the rock in Horeb, soon after they came out of Egypt, there was water for them to drink. Not that it flowed all the way from Horeb, but always, just when most needed. It came bubbling up from a rocky soil. The prophet Isaiah wrote long afterward, they thirst not when he led them through the desert. He caused the waters to flow out of the rock for them. He craved the rock also, and the waters gushed out. David recalled that the water ran in dry places like a river. Then one day, as their wandering was coming to an end, the flow of water ceased. Having carefully counted the years of their punishment, they should have taken this as a sign that Canaan was again very near. But they didn't. Instead, once more they grumbled to Moses and Aaron, now very old men. Would God not, would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord, they wailed. And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord unto this wilderness? that we, and then it has an illustration of a mom and some children, or a teenager and some children at a water, at some water. Okay, and it has a name up at the top, Russell Hartland. Huh, didn't notice that. He signs. Okay, and then we have a big illustration. Moses at the rock in the water. And it has a caption down at the bottom. And it's by Russell Harlan also. Impatient at the rebellion of the children of Israel, Moses struck the rock twice instead of speaking to it, as he had been commanded. Yet God, in his mercy, sent streams of water. And that was what happened, why he couldn't cross over. Okay, let's get back to the story. And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord unto the wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore have ye made us to come up out of Egypt, to bring us to this evil place? It is no place for seed, or figs, or vines, or pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. It was the same old story, the same old complaint. Just as soon as things began to go wrong, they wished they were back in Egypt, and were ready to blame Moses for all their troubles, just as they had done so many times before. Moses and Aaron turned to God for help. Going to the door of the tabernacle, they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And they might be old and weary, but God was still the same as ever, still ready to show them the way out of their problems. Gather thou the assembly, he told them, and speak unto the rock before their eyes, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So Moses and Aaron called all the people to come to the great rock that towered above the camp. Standing beneath it, Moses cried, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch to you water out of this rock? That is where he made a great mistake. He let himself get angry. No leader should do, which no leader should do. And he cursed, and this caused him to forget God the glory of, and this caused him to forget to give God the glory for the miracle, which was mistake number 2. Then he made the third mistake, the worst of all. Then he lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. Water gushed forth, and the people overjoyed and stooped. So he hit it twice to get the water out. He hit it. He didn't have to hit it. All he had to do was talk to it. Stooped down to drink. The cattle, parched with thirst, came running toward the cool, sparkling stream. But Moses and Aaron stood alone in disgrace. Because ye believe me not, God said to them, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation to the land which I have given them. The hearts of the two men sank. Not go to Canaan after all that they had done for Israel, all the trials they had endured, all the long journey they had traveled. Surely God had didn't mean that. How could he? What had they done to deserve so great a punishment? What had they done? Because they had not obeyed God exactly, they had spoiled something so beautiful. They had ruined the most important lesson that he wanted to teach not only Israel, but the people in all the world. Okay, sorry for I got stuck. Okay, the rock was a type of Jesus. He was to be struck once, never again. He was to be once offered to bear the sins of many, not many times over and over again. Moses had struck the rock once at Horeb. Horeb. He struck the rock once at Horeb. That was right. He had been told to do that. But now he had struck again, twice in fact, and God had told him to speak to it, not to strike it. Just as sinners may speak to Christ everywhere, just as sinners may speak to Christ anywhere in every time of need and bring water of life unto their souls. Poor Moses and Aaron, maybe they didn't understand all this they had done now. But God did not blame them for their failing to understand, but for failing to believe and obey. So they're like, let's see, he was 40 when he killed the Egyptian, and then he's 40 when he called to, so that makes him 80 when he went to Egypt, and then now when he hit the rock, he was 112. That's pretty old. And of course, Aaron being 3 years older, so he was 123. And there's the thing. And of course, I don't know, well, Miriam did pass away. And then that's another story. You may have to go look it up. And that was part 1, story 8. Now I'm going to cut and get for the next one. Get ready to read the next one. And I'll see you in a bit.